Hey everybody, Stage Left Audio. We're going to be looking at the gates that we use. These are frequency gates. In other words, we can tune in at pretty good accuracy as to when we want a gate to open based upon the frequency that we are listening to. So for example, we can have a gate open up only when the frequency range of a kick drum is present, or a snare, or a tom, or even a bass guitar. We can put gates on vocals and have them only open when there's a particular vocal range that's being. So basically, instead of just having a gate that opens up on any noise that it hears, we can zero in on when we want the gate to open. And this is really good for the use of drums. This makes an exceptionally tight sounding drum kit. Okay, in connecting a gate to the channel, it's just like it is for a compressor. We're using this channel right here, this area right here, and we have an insert cable just like we do with the compressors, and it just connects into it. That's our output, that's our return, and there's our input. That's the send. So it's going into the gate, it's being processed, and being sent back out to the channel. Okay, so to go over the controls of the gate, we're just looking at the very top left gate right there, and that's just for one channel only. So the top left two knobs, that lower knob is a low frequency, the top knob is a high frequency. And we can sort of zero in with pretty good accuracy on what frequency we want to use to have the gate open. The next knob over is the trigger, and this just tells the gate how loud the signal needs to be before the gate will open. The next knob over is the attack, how fast we want the gate to open. The next knob is a hold, how long we want to hold the gate open after the signals come in. The next knob over is release, is how fast we want the gate to close after the hold time has exceeded. And the far knob on the right is how quiet we want the gate to be when the gate closes. So in other words, for how quiet we want something, if we want a little bit of residual noise to come in through on the microphone, we can actually have that. Personally, I don't think that's maybe too good of an idea. There is a reason probably why you wouldn't want the gate to close all the way. If you've got let's see if you've got a really good dual bass drummer, and he is doing some, let's just say, speed metal, you don't want the gate to close all the way in between the hits, because that just means that's just that much longer that the gate takes to open completely to allow the signal to come through. So if you've got like a double bass or something that needs gating, you may not want the gate to close all the way. Okay, so for the example in here, I've got some music playing, which normally you would never put a full range signal through a gate like this, especially for live sound. Gates, this is, what you're looking at is one channel. This gate is really only meant to work for one particular channel within one frequency range. So with that being said, we've got some music playing. It's just some jazz. Hopefully it should have a good range of frequencies. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to set the gate to open and close based upon what frequency that we want it to. So I hope this is loud enough. Okay, now you can probably hear the gate like it's pumping the volume level, and that just means that where the trigger is set is that it's not allowing certain signals to come through because they're not loud enough for it to come through. I've got the range sort of set wide on it. It's not too wide, but it should be wide enough to give you an example. Okay, so here we're doing a quiet passage. So let's listen to what the gate hears so that we know how to better set the gate. Okay, we're going to do the volume here a little bit more, maybe so you can hear it some. What we're going to do is we're going to listen to what the gate is listening to so we can hear what frequency range that it's trying to open and close at. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds sort of muddy. Okay, now that's the high frequency. We're allowing more high frequency to come through. Okay, this is the low frequency. See right there, the gate is only set to open up for high frequency noises. This would be for how you would set a gate, let's say for cymbals. You only want the cymbals to come through on a particular gate channel. This is, for example, this is how you would set it. Okay, and for example, for the way this sounds, and I hope you can hear it, we have a little bit of bass coming through, but this is maybe how you would set, as far as the frequency, how you would set it for a snare drum or maybe a high tom sound to come through. Okay, I hope you can hear that, and I've got it cranked down pretty far. We're only allowing the bass to come through. So if we were to turn that off, see, it's waiting for the bass signals to come through, but the bass has to be a certain loudness before the gate will open. See, it's just coming through. We can adjust the trigger. Oh, there we go. I think you get the idea there. Just a trigger or a threshold. Now you can still sort of hear some of it coming through, but we can set the gate to be even real quiet. See, now you don't hear anything coming through. Barely. Okay, so let's open it back up again. Okay, now our gate's working again, but let's go back and listen to it. So this is our bass frequencies. Okay. Now we only want to open up during cymbal crashes, let's say, or you want the high horn sound right there. Said, because of this, is we can listen to it. If we take this off, we don't hear it. So this is how a basic gate works when using frequencies to trigger the gates to open and close. So gates are very important for keeping stage noise to a very, very minimum. And the more open mics you have, the less overall front house sound you're going to get. So as long as you can keep the gates closed, the louder, basically the overall loudness of the system is going to be noticeable. We use gates primarily for drums. We also use them for vocals occasionally. If we have a lead singer, we usually don't use a gate on a lead singer, but if we have, if there's any backing vocals or maybe a small choir people, we'll put gates on all the choirs so that those mics stay quiet while they're not singing. Anyway, I hope this was helpful.